Hey guys, hope I have good internet now. I think it should be pretty good today, and apologize for getting on a little bit later. But for those of you guys probably watching this after the stream, I wanted to cover cybersecurity a little bit more in depth. This is a topic I've been really diving deep into for basically the past month or so, as I think it's a really important topic. It's something that a lot of cryptocurrency thought leaders are starting to really have an opposition to, in terms of invasions of privacy, in terms of like declaring crypto when you're passing certain borders and whatnot. So this was an article. There's a lot of articles on this, but I want to bring up a little bit of this. So this is an article I think is kind of interesting, talking about Draconian digital search laws. And for this one, what I thought was really interesting was this little tweet by Andreas Antonopoulos, visiting New Zealand. Not going back because of this Orwellian bullshit in terms of the way that crypto is being handled. So for those of you guys that are maybe new to my channel or whatnot, like I had a situation where I came into the U.S. and basically lost all of my personal rights. I was thrown into a room and interrogated by 3 different FBI agents and Customs and Border and Security. I was forced to give my passwords to my phone and my iPad, which were my only digital electronics that I had at the time. I was advised not to be careful when traveling, to not bring any of your electronics. And so this is something that if you're traveling to some of the major some of the major countries, so China, India, Russia, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, some of these countries where if you're in cryptocurrency, you have to be very careful about when you're traveling, what you have when you're traveling, because if you're in cryptocurrency, you're going to be targeted. And you're going to be forced to really open up all of your electronics or have them confiscated. So some of the things I've been looking at getting into, I mean, one of the things that I've been kind of really diving into is wallets, like where you're storing your cryptocurrency, because for a lot of these agencies, that's a primary thing that they're interested in, and something that cryptocurrency fights in terms of privacy invasions. There's an interesting video. I'm going to leave this a link in the description below to why a lot of U.S. banks are starting to panic and kind of having a lot of failings with what's going on with some of the ways of transferring money. So I thought it was an interesting video. So I'll leave that in the description below. But if you're the common rule is that if you're traveling and you have over $10,000, you're supposed to, at least in cash, you're supposed to be declaring that information. And if you have that in cryptocurrency, that's one of the ways that you can be targeted. And they're gonna, the way that a lot of these laws, like I was new to understanding a lot of this stuff, but you're forced to give your passwords to your phone, to any electronic devices, or have them confiscated. And the other thing that's important to note is that when you give access to these devices, they're taken into a back room. You have no personal privacy when it comes to that stuff. If you have like sensitive information, maybe sexual stuff, that like personal stuff or anything, that information is going to be uploaded forever to a database called Factum, at least in the US. There's a couple other digital ways that this information is being stored, totally, without your consent. There's instances that I've discovered where malware can be installed and uploaded to your electronic devices to kind of track some of your information. So some of the common things you should consider is getting off Facebook, especially getting off Facebook Messenger. For those of you guys that don't know, Facebook Messenger can track the audio, it can use the microphone when your phone is turned off. As long as your battery you have battery in your phone, they can track audio. Now a lot of these government agencies are going to say, hey, you know, like that information is not being used, or it's used in some of these different ways. And then you have guys like Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, who, you know, are basically giving proof to the contrary that a lot of this stuff is being used without your authority. And so this is something, this is a modern day reality that a lot of people need to wake up to and understand. So what I want to do is I want to give some very, very basic pointers and just kind of cover some security details in you know, kind of just in broad. Like this is a huge topic, and I'm going to be coming back and kind of covering some of the individual pieces individually. But you know, some of the common things you want to get away from. You want to get away from companies that are not do not have your personal privacy in mind. And so this is getting away from any kind of Google product. This is getting away from anything Facebook. This is getting away from anything that Facebook or Google have bought. You know, unfortunately with YouTube, you know, YouTube is under, you know, Google, and so that's something that sometimes you're just going to have to accept a little bit of this, but you should at least be aware. So I'm going to kind of go through some of these things. But what are some other options? Because in a lot of ways, the way that Google and like Facebook and some of these entities and all of their sub-entities have kind of taken over the market, there might not be some of the best options, or people aren't necessarily just really going to take the time to really explore some of those options. So in terms of your browser, you want to, I used to be a big proponent of Google Chrome, not anymore, especially with a lot of stuff that's been going on. Brave browser, I think, is a really good alternative. There's several other alternatives that you could consider. You know, there's a Tor browser is another one. NordVPN. There's a few different browsers to kind of take a look into. But I think, like, I'm kind of looking at this also with some of the people that I've been advising here in the Philippines. Is I've got a lot of people really interested in cryptocurrency, and it's a very pro cryptocurrency country. And a lot of my friends, like, I need to teach them basic stuff. And so one of the things we're doing is I'm telling them, okay, back up all your data. You're going to get all your data, you're going to pull it off your computer, and we're going to wipe that thing clean. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a VPN on your computer, so that when you get into this computer, you're not here. You're in, you know, Japan. You're in, you know, Australia, or you're in India. You're in some other country, and so that helps to protect your privacy. It may slow down your internet speeds a little bit, so that may be something that you can set up two different computers or two different phones. So you have one that's a security-enabled way to interact with the internet, and you have another one that you know, maybe you're using for like Facebook or some of these other things. There's a lot of people, they don't necessarily want to give some of that stuff up, so I understand that. So there's some different considerations. Now, I've been using Proton VPN. Like, one of the free VPNs I used before that was Hola, H-O-L-A, though it's kind of crappy VPN. I think private VPN, from my personal experience, has been probably the best VPN in terms of a lot of the things that it encompasses. Probably primarily like speed and privacy. It is. Last time I checked, it was like $40 a year, so there's a price to it. And Proton VPN doesn't work as good after the first month trial period. I've kind of noticed that, so I'm looking for some different VPN options and whatnot. So that's something to kind of look into. You know, I've had several Gmail accounts, and I got an email notification basically saying that my email is no longer secure. It's been forwarded to federal authorities. So this has been given up to you know, the FBI or you know, maybe some other federal agencies. I'm not really sure. But Gmail is no longer secure, and that's not a secure way to interact on the internet. So Proton Mail is a good alternative. There's Tutanota is another one. There's a few others that are out there, but that's another important consideration, is to have a secure email. Maybe you use this just for cryptocurrency, and other things. So you know, I have a lot of email addresses and things like that, and I think that that's a good way to kind of spread things around. Another important consideration is your passwords. Where do you store your passwords? You should not be using the same passwords for all of your accounts. Like, I was dealing with this with my girlfriend. Like, she's using the same password for all of my accounts. I was like, you know, so once someone, you know, cracks it and gets your password, they got the passwords to every single one of your accounts. And like, it just didn't really occur to her. You need to have a lot of different passwords. You need to be using letters, you need to be using numbers, you need to be using symbols. These are basic considerations, but you may forget your password. I mean, you may be your own worst enemy in terms of your own personal security if you forget your password. So one of the things I think it's important to look at is, where do you store those backups to those passwords? And my suggestion, you know, I think this is a basic one, is to email it to yourself. So have a secure email, and maybe you inside that email, you can email it to yourself. There's a couple other ways to store it digitally online, so that's another way to back up your passwords, and also to make sure to change your passwords every once in a while, especially if it's one that you use quite frequently. So those are some important considerations when you're looking into some of that. The wallets, cryptocurrency wallets. Now, I was diving deep into this, I would say about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and unfortunately, like, my computer crashed, and so a lot of the information that I had on there is gone. So I got to go back and kind of look into some of that stuff. But there's 2 wallets that I want to cover, and I put the information in the description below. So Electrum is a great Bitcoin wallet. It doesn't do a lot of the altcoins. This is the Electrum website, so I encourage you guys to download this wallet. You can have it securely on your computer. And then Exodus is another one. This is one for more altcoins. And one of the things I like about this is it's password protected. So say you do travel and you get detained by a certain country's border and security, you know, they're going to need another password to get into that account. Now, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I really don't trust anyone. And so if that was one of the things that I think that was brought up, you know, when I was dealing with some of these security issues, was hey, you know, give us a password. Like, we're not going to do anything with it. Like, we're just checking for yada yada yada. Well, what's to say that some greedy little government, you know, agent doesn't go in and get your 12-seed backup and take that information and use it for their own personal, gain. Say that you know, they just jot down your 12 words real quick, you know, while they're inside your wallet, and you know, maybe they use the same password that you were forced to give up to get your electronics back. I mean, you really kind of have to dive into this stuff deep and take some of these things to heart. Your personal security, your privacy is very, very important in the cryptocurrency world. So I encourage you guys to take it seriously. So those are some good wallets. I'm going to be covering some of those more in depth, but I think those are some good basic wallets to hold your cryptocurrency, say somewhere on your privately on your computer, so that you are in control of your keys, of your information. There's a lot of options on the cloud. However, when you start getting into hot wallets or things of that nature, you're subject to hacking issues. Like, I lost a ton of money on Cryptopia. What's that? What was that? I'm trying to think of the Bancor, the decentralized exchange, like the number 3 decentralized exchange at the time. You know, I lost a bunch of money in those from hacks. You know, these are things that you may need to consider if you're getting into some of these exchanges, is that it's very possible that the exchange could have problems and you lose a lot of that. Now, I've had a lot of stuff on hot wallets, you know, because I travel quite frequently, and that's a way to kind of upload things to the internet, and you have a layer of security there. So those are some interesting things to take a look at. I want to bring up this article, which I thought was kind of interesting. This is a little bit of an overview of some basic wallets. So Atomic Wallet, these are some of the ones I was kind of looking into. Has some different options here. Bread Wallet, Mycelium, Exodus, Copay. I've been looking in Jax. I have some questions about Jax. There's been some hacking claims and things of that nature. Armory. Now Trezor and Ledger. Like these are things like I've seen a few friends of mine that did videos where they were, doing like an unboxing of a cryptocurrency wallet of that nature. Now, if you're traveling and you get hit with one of these unjust searches at the border, and you have one of these Ledger wallets, you're going to be forced in some instances to give access to show that you don't have over $10,000 in cryptocurrency on that device. So I don't see Trezor or Ledgers as a good option unless you're keeping it securely in a safe in your home. Now, I don't have a home. I'm in crypto. I'm homeless, right? So I can't. I don't really necessarily have a secure way to hold some of these devices, or I'm sorry, some of my crypto securely offline in a hardware wallet, in cold storage. That's, a lot of people will say that's one of the best ways or the most secure ways to hold cryptocurrency, and with kind of some of the things that have been going on, like that may be true if you don't travel or you don't move around, but if you're like, say you're someone in my situation where you travel quite a bit, that device could be subject to search. Let me check in with the chat a little bit. What's up with NovaChain? I use Atomic, really like it. Sorry, what was your girlfriend's password again? Password manager. Yeah, there's a few different password managers. I'll get into that a little bit. So I think that, and I'm not sure if an application that is like a password manager is really the best way to go. I think, like I was kind of mentioning, like really just a simple email to yourself with not like password in the title or the actual password's name, like of the option that you have. I think what you need to look at is a particular keyword that's specific to you. So, not like a dog's name or your name or your girlfriend or wife's name or something like that, but some sort of something in your mind that you can search for, and you use that word so that you can search for it in your email. Okay, so that's a good way to kind of look at security in that sense. So there's I thought this was interesting. This was an article in the description. I left it here in the description below. I guess it's not going to get big. So this is a cryptocurrency guide, kind of looking at password management, malware, and antivirus protection, which is an important consideration. Of these options, I think Kaspersky is the best. I've had a little bit of experience with them with a trusted security network administrator, and that was kind of his recommendation. Two-factor authentication. Okay, I didn't quite get into that. I'll get into that a little bit, but you can see here like key storage, like Trezor, Ledger, like these are things that are being recommended, but it depending on your situation might not necessarily be the best option. So good things to keep in mind. Authy, this is a two-factor authentication that you can use as an alternative to Google. This is one that is good to kind of have like on your desktop. One of the things I kind of like about it is there's a way. Let's see here. Oops. I'll show this to you guys. There's a few different options on here. You can get into, so they have some different settings. I don't want to give away too much of my stuff here. You can look at your accounts, devices. So there's some different stuff that you can kind of look at it gives you a little bit more optionality over Google 2FA. Like I have an electronic device, and the only reason I use it, it's like an old phone, is because I have my 2FA stuck on there from some old accounts. I don't really have any money in there anymore, but I don't have a way to recover that and transfer it to a different device. And getting even into my account, I don't have that option right now. One of them is because it was with one of my first kind of cryptocurrency ventures, which was Circle, which is since been taken over by Goldman Sachs. So I don't have any money in there, but I also don't have a way to recover my 2FA. But it was at the time. It did have an option to get into to being able to transfer into fiat from cryptocurrency, which has since been taken away. So, using a browser-based VPN can betray you if you have Flash, Java, or other plugins installed. That's a good point. Best to run a VPN client or VPN through a router. Maybe good idea to change MAC address, hardware ID. That's so. For those of you guys that may know a little bit of my history, I was in electricity trading. That was kind of my career that I was in before getting into cryptocurrency. And one of the big things that a lot of those plugins or things were not allowed in the office environment because of a lot of the security vulnerabilities and just the complexity behind a lot of that as well. So. It was just not allowed, and because of that, there was a lot of applications, things like YouTube, like a lot of YouTube videos, surprisingly, like a few other applications that at the time didn't work unless you had some of these plugins installed. Things to consider. So I appreciate any comments you guys want to leave in the description below. Any suggestions or other things to consider. This is a big topic, and so I'm not going to cover everything today, but I just wanted to kind of cover a few of the basics. Exodus is a pretty viable option. You only have to remember your seed phrase to be able to restore it to any computer. Yep, I've done that actually a couple of times when I've cleaned out some of my computers. Password managers encrypt your data, so highly recommended. I use Bitwarden. Includes 2FA support, storing passwords in plain text. Okay. Oh, so storing passwords in plain text like emails is very bad. Okay. LastPass, KeePass, GA, 2FA. I had my email hacked and they got my DEX password. Okay. Yeah, that is something to consider. There's a lot of different ways to kind of look at security. So I think that I just personally don't have a whole lot of experience with password managers, and I feel like just keeping it simple is a little bit better for me. So I guess that's something to look into. But like, for instance, now that my Gmail has been compromised, which is also linked to this YouTube account, which is one of the reasons why the government was able to get access into my Google account. I don't trust really using that information anymore because it's been compromised, right? You think you have a little bit of personal security, but in a lot of ways you really don't. And I don't think it's wise to trust everything that the government's going to provide you. I've been screwed over many times in the past by some of these instances. Like I lost my NFL career by trusting in other people, which was a huge mistake. I was almost killed when I was in college in my physical peak by taking the MMR vaccine, which was required for me to honor my scholarship. I've had a lot of different things that in my past where I have a lot of issues with trusting in anything American, I guess you could say. So things have gotten a lot better for me ever since I've gotten away from America. I've had a few different conversations with some people about that, and some people are starting to kind of look at things. You know, I've got a couple people that are interested in coming out to Asia, and I encourage that. You know, I think once people kind of get a taste of what actual true freedom is like outside of America. I mean, people say like America's the most free country in the world. I think it's actually quite the opposite. I think it's probably one of the biggest police states currently. You know, I think once you get outside of that and you realize how free you are outside, like I don't have freedom of speech in the U.S. You know, I mean, I've been censored on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Steam It, Twitter, and also in some of my own communities within arbitraging. I've been censored, and I've been kind of sharing some of that stuff. So, you know, I'm very experienced with having you know, some of these things being deleted from the internet. So hopefully this video stays up. So anyways, appreciate you guys staying online. I think I'm just going to keep this nice and short. Maybe take one more question before I get off here. Exodus and MetaMask can share the same key phrase, and then one has more ways to access their crypto. You can check to see if your email's on the dark web. I'd like to look into that. Free dark web scan from Experian. Clover Conspiracy Channel. It's conspiracy fact when it happens to you like it's happened to me. I've brought in a lot of these things up and shown proof that this stuff is happening, and a lot of that, some of that stuff has been deleted. So, kind of dealing with that with arbitraging right now. So, you know, I put out a little bit of a controversial video out there and gotten a lot of you know, a lot of downvotes and things from the arbitraging community. But I think that there's a lot of information in there that needs to be known and needed to be said. So I've received some criticism from that, and I'm like, you know what? I would love for you to make a video and actually show your face and explain why you disagree with me. So I encourage a lot of people, like if you have some insights with some of the things I've brought up with security, please make a video. I'd love to watch it. I'd love to hear some of your feedback. Definitely open to other opinions and criticism and critiques. That's how you learn and you get better. I'm not right all the time, but I have a lot of experience, and I'm sharing my experiences with my audience, my experiences in cryptocurrency, and I think it's important for people to kind of learn from others' experience. You know, I've been in this for a while, longer than most, and I've seen a lot of different things. And so I'm relaying my experiences, what's currently going on in the world with cryptocurrency in terms of your privacy, your security. So it's important. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all staying online. I'll try to get back on for a stream when I get a good, strong Wi-Fi, but I'm heading back out into the mountains later today, so I'm not sure what that'll be like, but I'll probably do a few more edited videos. I've got a couple other videos I'm working on, but there's a lot of different things I want to talk about, and I want to get some content out, so I've had a lot on my mind. I encourage you guys to get into my Telegram chat or my Discord. I get in there, and I'm fairly active, maybe more so in my Telegram than my Discord. I encourage you guys to share your thoughts and feedback. All right, guys, appreciate y'all staying online. Catch you guys on the next one.